Module 4. In this module, I will talk about what is holding us back in our lives and why, and about how we can collaborate with our minds to find the limiting beliefs that are holding us back, and how our minds are our best partners in life to find the direction that is closest to our heart's desire. Protection mechanisms. Everyone has that feeling sometimes that something is holding you back. You know very well what you want, you've set goals and intentions, but something stops you, slows you down, blocks you. This blockage comes from our protection mechanisms that you've created and that you're not aware of, which you cannot influence with the conscious part of your brain. Protection mechanism is created, often in childhood, at a time when certain basic needs or impulses are not met, causing pain and frustration. The only thing you can do as a child in such a moment of unmet needs and pain is to protect yourself against another similar experience. For example, when you were not loved and cared for as a child, you may build a protection mechanism by repressing the need for love. And this will likely result in not connecting on a deep level with other people during adult life. The function of a protection mechanism is to protect yourself and to defend against others. Everyone tends to use the same mechanisms under certain circumstances, and there are various mechanisms that we use to avoid or reduce tension, frustration, pain, or conflict. Freud has described many of such protection mechanisms. I will describe the best known examples. See if you can recognize any of them. 1. Repression. You repress the need, the lack, or the desire so that it no longer penetrates your awareness and you no longer remember the experience. The memory has been pushed out of consciousness. Denial follows. 2. Isolation. This is incomplete repression. The memory of a painful event is still there, but the feeling is missing. You have actually disassociated. You look at it from a distance, like a spectator. 3. Rationalization. The rational reasoning of an event or feeling, or reconfiguring your own behavior in response to an unwanted incentive. You're looking for a good explanation for your behavior or your emotional response to a situation. It can also express itself in coming up with explanations and analysis for how it all happened this way. All in the head in order not to have to feel. 4. Projection. You project your own feelings or qualities onto someone else. You see qualities in others that you do not recognize or acknowledge in yourself. You see what belongs to you in the other as if it belongs to the other. Or the other way around, you do not see negative qualities in yourself, but only in others. 5. Identification. You compensate for your pain and needs by adopting the behavior or characteristics of others. You identify with someone else. 6. Sublimation. You repress your unfulfillable needs and look for another way to satisfy it. In other words, you replace your frustration with something better. For example, if you carry a lot of anger or aggression, you choose a hobby or a profession where you can legitimately respond to this anger and aggression. You look for a different context where you can express your emotion. 1. Playing it down. Waving away your own contribution to a problem or denying the importance of something. You make it smaller or less serious than it is. 2. Shifting the blame. Blaming someone else for your own failure or your own feelings of shame. You put it outside yourself and you don't take your own share and responsibility in a situation. It's a form of victimization where the other is the perpetrator. 3. Not competing. Denying that someone else is stronger or more powerful. You feel superior to competition while you're actually afraid of ranking conflicts. You do things to satisfy others or you excel in caring for others. 4. Overachieving. You work hard to harvest recognition and appreciation. For you, it is the medicine to make inferior feelings disappear. It's about wanting to perform extremely well, a form of perfectionism. You want to do everything well and be seen as strong. 5. Making yourself big. Making your own performance more beautiful and bigger than it really is. You pretend to be great, intelligent, smart, and better than others. You exaggerate your own performance. 6. Requesting confirmation. You constantly ask another person if it's right what you are doing, and if the other person wants to confirm that. You get recognition from someone else instead of from yourself. 7. Defending. You cannot stand it if someone notices something negative about you, because you immediately take it personally and feel rejected. You are always in attack mode because everyone is a potential enemy. In the case of feedback or criticism, you always answer yes, but you defend yourself. 8. Venting. You take negative feelings about yourself out on someone else. 9. Compensating. You compensate your inability in one area by delivering excellence in another. 10. Getting out of reality. You retreat to daydreams and fantasies. You are not present at an important moment. As soon as you see danger, you retreat into your own world. 11. Escaping. You close yourself off for certain circumstances or people. You avoid a situation or person so that it no longer affects you. 12. Adapting. You adapt to someone else or a situation. You accept it not because you believe this is correct, but because you want to avoid a conflict. 13. Penance. Constantly blaming yourself, even if you have no share in the blame. Penance can even mean that you provide services for someone else or completely sacrifice yourself. You put yourself down, you judge yourself negatively. In your mind, you are worth nothing and only burden others. The inner child. All the needs that we experience in our adult lives stem from unmet needs from our early childhood. Parents cannot fulfill all the needs of their baby or child because they themselves have unmet needs from their childhood. Moreover, parents cannot know all the needs of their child because the fulfillment of needs is something personal. What one person needs to feel appreciated, for example, cannot be directly translated into what another person needs. So parents do what they think is right. They try to make the best of it with the best intentions. As an adult, you may notice that you are projecting unmet needs on your partner, children, or other loved ones in your life. The first step is to become aware that this is projection and that your partner or others can never fulfill this need. You are the only one who can examine this unmet need and heal from within. There are 12 basic needs that we have as a child. Care and safety, trust, understanding, respect, admiration, acceptance, confirmation or acknowledgement, recognition, reassurance, appreciation, approval, and encouragement. One way to investigate your own unmet needs is to work with your inner child. That child who, as a small child, struggled with problems or uncertainties that, as it were, still live on inside of you. If you treat that child in a loving, caring, compassionate way, you are also loving and caring to yourself. And if you do that, you also interact with others in a softer, more gentle way. We judge others quickly, but if we look deeper into the inner child in that person, we will naturally feel more understanding. As a child, we deal with events in a very personal way. For example, if a father left the family when the child was 3 years old, the child quickly can make a connection with himself. I am not good enough. If I had been better, he would have stayed. That's of course not the case. The child is not the cause for the father leaving. And later as an adult we know that. But the belief we attach to it, I am not good enough, has already been deeply programmed by the time we reach adulthood and continues to affect our state of mind and our behavior. It now drives the obstacles or the limitations in our lives. We cannot change the past, but we can change our experience of it in the present. And with that, we can change our lives. It's important to really feel the feelings of the inner child. These have often been ignored for too long. Examine these suppressed feelings and then give them friendly attention. Talk to the child within you as a caring and kind and understanding inner voice. In the beginning it might feel a bit silly, but you will soon notice that it will give great relief. Make it a new habit, as if you have a new friend, a buddy who is with you at any time of the day. Your mind as a partner. Another important friend is your mind. If you experience limitations or feel as if something is holding you back or hindering in your life, the solution is always in your subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind is for 90% responsible for our behavior, patterns, blocks, and emotions. And because we have acquired all of our limiting beliefs ourselves, we were never born with them, we can let them go ourselves too. One of the most common barriers to success and happiness is that we do not know how to work with our mind. It is the best and the most important partner we will ever have. And to learn how to work well with it, we need to understand how it works so that we can train it to achieve exactly what we want. The parts of our mind are similar to an iceberg. An iceberg is only partially visible because 90% is below the surface of the water. The same is true for our mind. The tip is our conscious brain, and the big part that is underwater is the subconscious part of our brain. This subconscious part largely drives our behavior and our thoughts through the experiences, strategies, conclusions, and beliefs we have made in the past. All this data is stored in us, in our subconscious minds. There are empowering beliefs, but also limiting ones, and we can only turn these into empowering beliefs through the subconscious part of our mind. Our thoughts create our reality. What we think becomes our reality. If you think you'll never find love again, it's unlikely that you will. If you think you will never earn enough money, it will become reality, and so on. At the root of every problem in your life is a limiting belief that you created in your childhood to protect yourself against pain. Our mind is programmed to protect us from pain. And it's a wonderful mechanism, really, because it helps us cope with the problems we encounter and thus cope with our lives. However, we carry these beliefs with us for the rest of our lives, even when they no longer serve us, or worse, when they limit us. For example, if we had a frightening experience in an airplane, it's likely that although logic tells us that the chance of accidents is low, we will be afraid of flying for the rest of our lives because the belief is trapped in our subconscious mind and is kept alive there through our thoughts. So basically, our mind forms a blueprint with the words we say to ourselves, and then our mind does everything in its power to make this blueprint become a reality. Neuroplasticity. The human brain is incredibly complex and we're still discovering more about it. But the most important change in our understanding of the brain in the last 400 years is that we used to think that our brain was fully grown at a certain age and therefore it was fixed. We called it a fixed mindset. Well, we now know that we can in fact constantly change and grow our mind. It's called the growth mindset. It changes with everything we think and experience. This is called neuroplasticity. With every repetition of a thought or an emotion, we reinforce a neural root. These small changes, if they are repeated often enough, lead to changes in our brains and therefore in our behavior. Neuroplasticity is the ability of our brain to rewire itself by continuously making new neural connections. We can influence this through our thoughts. If we intentionally think different thoughts than what we are used to, our brain will automatically rewire or reprogram. So as soon as you start believing new things, your brain changes. Neuroplasticity is in fact the muscle building part of the brain. What we use or do often becomes stronger, and what we don't use fades. So expel negative thought patterns out of your mind and make your thoughts positive and empowering. Give yourself permission to think big and visualize. If you can see it, you can believe it. And repetition deepens the neural pathways, and after a while it becomes automatic. It becomes part of us. Just like driving a car, we can do all the actions automatically through our subconscious without the cooperation of our conscious brain. The body-mind connection. The way we think influences our body, or our thoughts create our reality. Everything in our lives comes from our thinking. And that is actually very good news, because you can change your way of thinking very quickly. Let me show you that your thoughts have a direct influence on your body. When you see it, you believe it. I want you to close your eyes. Imagine holding a big, juicy, yellow, half a lemon in your hand. Imagine moving your hand to your mouth, and I want you to breathe in that delicious lemon flavor. I want you to squeeze the lemon and feel that waxy lemon zest. And now I want you to open your mouth, put it in your mouth, squeeze the flesh into your mouth and begin to suck the juice. Bite it, chew it, tear into the flesh, turn it around, eat that lemon. Now lower your arms and open your eyes. And almost everyone will now say, wow, I felt that. I started producing saliva, all based on a thought of a lemon. Because where was the lemon? There was no lemon. Or was there? Some people will say there was no lemon, but there was. The lemon was in your mind, in your imagination. And you have produced saliva by a thought. You told yourself that you were eating a lemon. And you didn't say, come on, there is no lemon. I don't see it. It's not true. No, your thought said you eat a lemon, and your system reacted with, ooh, that's acid. It will damage your tooth enamel. I will produce some saliva to wash it away. Our mind is that powerful. We ourselves have no influence on it. It's important to know that the mind does not think about what you're saying, whether it's true or not, whether it's good or bad, or healthy or unhealthy, useless or useful. It simply lets everything you say to it in, and it responds to it through your body. So if your mind already believes that you eat a lemon when there is no lemon, what will happen if you think that you will get sick, or that you will fail, or that you are stupid or ugly? That's why we have to take responsibility for everything that we tell ourselves. Rules of the mind. Based on her more than 40 years of working with clients as a psychotherapist and a hypnotherapist, Marissa Peer has defined a number of rules of the mind. When you know how your mind works, you know how you can make it work better for you. Rule number 1. The first task of your mind is to help you survive in this world by removing you away from pain and bringing you towards pleasure. For example, your mind will do everything possible to keep you away from going on stage to speak in public if you had a bad experience with public speaking in the past. The stage is linked to pain. What you need to do is to link pleasure to what you want, delivering a great public speech, and pain to what you don't want, watching others deliver the speech that you wanted to deliver on stage. So, in your mind, link pleasure to the experience that you are going to have by thinking about why you really want to do something. Rule number 2, your mind always does what it thinks that you want. For example, if I followed the fear that I felt before giving a live group workshop, I would have said to my thoughts, I am so afraid it will not go well. I cannot do this. Maybe nobody finds it interesting. My mind would have gone, she doesn't want to do this. Let's sabotage it, and give me stomach ache or an enormous resistance. My mind had read, this is a situation of danger, and gave me anxiety symptoms such as an overdose of adrenaline, shaking, sweating, not being able to talk or even think. I might freeze or black out or even run away from the workshop. So we need to speak with our minds, tell our thoughts what it is that we want, and use very detailed and specific words and images. Feel it, see it, experience it. So before the workshop, I tell myself how much I love teaching and helping people, and I make pictures in my head of a confident Sandra, inspired participants, and lots of positive feedback afterwards, so that I still feel that adrenaline that makes me perform at my best, but it no longer paralyzes me, and it helps me enjoy it every time. Rule number 3, your mind loves the familiar and avoids the unfamiliar. So for example, if you're in the habit of drinking a glass of wine every night, your mind will protest if you stop it. Similarly, with reprogramming long-held beliefs about money, like that there will never be enough. Your mind will resist if you're going to change it because it wants to keep you safe. This is why we have to work to change the beliefs in ourselves. So choose to familiarize yourself with what you want and make what you do not want unfamiliar. Rule number 4, the mind learns by repetition. For example, if you told yourself half of your life that you are not smart, it will take a lot of repetition telling yourself that you are smart before it will become your new truth. It takes a while before the new neural pathways are deepened. And sometimes the negative beliefs are so deep that your mind doesn't even believe the new beliefs at first. In that case, just fake it until you make it. So repeat the beliefs, ideas, results you want as often as you can. Out loud, in your mind, on paper, it doesn't matter. Just long enough until it is embedded in your mind. Rule number 5, the mind cannot hold conflicting beliefs. For example, if you want a happy love relationship but you're afraid of rejection, what you want will not come true. You must first erase the old belief, I will be rejected, to make room for the new, I will have a happy love relationship. And because these beliefs are so deep in our subconscious, it needs a lot of awareness of existing thoughts and repetition of new thoughts. So, become aware of the contradictory beliefs and try to get the old ones out, preferably by working directly with the subconscious mind through hypnosis, RTT, or EMDR. Rule number 6, the mind only works in the present tense, and it only understands now. For example, if you think, in 3 months my money will be gone, your mind will hear, it's gone now, and reacts with stress and panic now, while you actually need that mind space for creating and manifesting. Or if you want to think positively and think in a year I will make it, this has no impact on your mind. It means nothing. You can better think I am rich now, even if it is not true. Then your mind will immediately change your body and behavior to make this a reality. So think, see and act the things that you want to manifest as if they are already there, and your body and mind will collaborate to make it come true. Collaborating with our mind. So, how do we find the causes of our limiting beliefs? The answers are always in your past, and the most important tool is your mind. Your mind is programmed to answer questions. So all you have to do is ask the right questions, and then it will give you the answers that are available in your subconscious mind. If you're looking for your purpose or your passion and say, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to make money, I can't do that, or I don't know, your mind will give you exactly that back. But when you say, for example, what can I do to use my talents to create wealth? And asking yourself these kinds of questions over and over again, your mind will go to work and answer your questions, because that is what your mind does. It's the same if you lost your keys. We all know the feeling. If you panic and say things like, oh no, I don't know where my keys are. I lost my keys. I'm an idiot. I don't know where I put them. I'm in a hurry. I have to find them now. I really don't know anymore. Then you will not find your keys. If you take a break and say, okay, I have to find my keys. I will find my keys. Subconscious, help me remember, where did I put my keys? Where did I last have them? Then your mind will give you the answer quickly. Oh yes, I remember. I came in, I went straight to the bathroom, and that's where I left my keys. Your mind is actually like a heat-seeking missile. You have to give him direction, tell where you want to go, and then let go. It will give you exactly what you want. So, it's about asking better questions. You have a brilliant brain. Use it and ask yourself the right questions.